Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
Rex Sherman is a demon.
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here to another ATS News live stream. Sorry it took me a minute. I was just getting done downloading the files that Teresa from Criminality has sent to me through the Google Drive. We have the interview that we started last night on Grizzly True Crimes channel. So she was the first to put it out yesterday. We went through, I think, around 20-ish minutes. And then tonight, we've got our copy from our wonderful friend and our moderator here, Criminality. So if I can get a moderator to link her channel, if not, I can do it as well. But for transparency purposes, because I'm hearing that there's still people who are assuming that this audios and these files have been taken from other people without giving them credit. I'm showing you guys right here that the Google Drive that Criminality has sent me was uploaded and modified at 7:07. So that's when she put it up, and then she sends it to me. She got it through Freedom of Information Act. If you guys haven't seen my community page, we talk about an email that Alex Erickson had with the technician that basically says people who get the first copy pay for the redaction, man work, and hours. So that is why other channels had it first, and that's why we're receiving it afterwards for free. So I hope that clears up a lot of confusion and misconceptions and channels calling us liars and stuff for having this when we've gotten it the same way that other people have. We just weren't first, so we didn't have to pay that purchase to redact. So hello, Derek and Cindy, Roro, Mally. I got your gift. It's good to see you. Thank you so much. The purple one. It was either you, Mally, or another Mally who sent a gift for the baby. So I hope it was you. If not, then maybe Mally's listening. Hey, Jen Lou, good to see you. And by the way, tomorrow morning, for those who kind of might not watch all this, we're not going to go through it all, guys, because I can only do so long in this computer chair this far along pregnant. But we will finish it up tomorrow night, I'm assuming. But Alex Erickson also received the files. So I've got 2 moderators on my channel who have received them. They are my sources whenever we use them here. They're awesome to even help me out and send them to me. They are also doing their own deep dives and coverage into it. And usually she goes in the morning. So Alex Erickson will be live in the morning going through this. And then Criminality sometimes goes live in the evening. And I believe she will be picking up on the Madeline Soto case as well. So we've got everything we need as far as files and all that to go through. And as they upload them, we'll be receiving them. So you'll have multiple places to kind of go for this coverage too. I know, Jen, it really is unfortunate. And I know it is sad that I have to like pull up, because literally I thought showing the page before would clear things up. And people were like, are you sure Criminality got them from Freedom of Information? I'm like, yes, I trust her, I'm sure. So let's get into it. Again, part 1 we did last night, and that was around 22 minutes. So tonight we will be doing as much as we can get through. And then, yeah, Oh, good. We can zoom on this screen. I like that. Okay, let's get into it, see how far we get. Let me see if I got to turn the volume up.
I drove the path she would have walked. I didn't see her. I got to the office.
Hold on.
And she goes, no, it's a little too early. And I said, okay. Let me go drive back down and wait along the path she would walk and just wait. And I parked and I waited. I waited.
There she is, criminality. Thank you, Teresa.
She still wasn't there, and I looked at the time, and I'm like, okay, she should be back at my mom's office by now. Maybe she took a different path and I didn't see. So I went, no, she's still not here. And I'm like, that's really strange. So I call. I don't know if I text her. I call. I think I text her, and I asked, hey, or I called. No, I called her. I asked, and she said, no, she didn't make it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? She was dropped off close to the school. She should have been in school. She goes, no, she didn't make it to first, second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends, see if she made it to any of her other periods. At some point in this, I emailed one of her teachers asking, actually emailed a few of her teachers and two of them responded. One of them said, no, she did not make it to class, and I checked her attendance for the rest of the day. She wasn't in school at all. Like, he sent me a screenshot of like her attendance, and it said 0, 0, 0.
You still have that on the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
If you need to know what app, I'll tell you what app. It's a special school app.
Got it.
He said she was missing all day. And at this point, I start to panic and freak out because that can't be the case. She was dropped off. I had to go check her attendance at school, but the office had closed already. The lights were off. I could see a student sitting in there in the darkness, but I couldn't see any of the administrators or anybody in the office. Lights were off, everything was closed. They wouldn't allow me in. I think at this point the teacher had responded to me and told me she didn't make it to school at all. I start having like a freak out panic attack. And
are you still just you at this point? Is it you and Stefan?
It's me and my sister. And I want to say one of them is Catherine. I start panicking and I think at this point I call Stefan and I tell him, hey, because she didn't make it. She's absent today. There's no attendance of her at all today. I'm like, right now. And he said, okay, I'll be there. And he came to the office. And there for like 3 hours, I think. Eventually I contact one of my friends whose husband works, or ex-husband works for OCP, or for you guys.
Orange County Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I messaged him and I talked to him and I asked him what I should be doing because you guys aren't responding quick enough.
Would you know his name? Where he works?
Yes. Nick Mann.
Okay.
Or Mahon.
Do you know what he does here?
I think he works for SWAT.
Okay.
Sure.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
He tell you to wait.
I can't remember anymore. I think he let us know that there were other kids missing in the area, which is why you guys weren't responding quick enough. I think an 8 and a 9-year-old had gone missing around the same time too. In a playground, they forgot to tell. They didn't tell their mom they were going to the playground or something like that. So all the cops were over there on that side of Hunters Creek. My sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever he is, thought it would be a good idea to go to the park and talk to a cop there and see if he could bring a cop back, and that's what he did.
Okay.
And then at that point, that's when the cops started asking us questions, taking a report. Interviewing me, they interviewed Stefan. They asked Stefan to take them back to the location where he dropped them off, and he showed them wherever he dropped her off. They were looking for cameras along the path, and I don't think they found any cameras along the way. See if there's any video recordings. I think.
Did Stefan go with them in their patrol cars, or did he drive himself and they followed? How did that work?
I think he went with them in the patrol car.
Okay.
Then they came back. And then that's it. Everything was done. The cops were done. We were done.
What time? You remember what time that was on Monday?
It was after dark. We say 8 o'clock.
What did you guys go do after that?
We were in separate cars, me and Stefan.
Okay.
I ugly cried on the way home. I shouldn't have been driving. But I ugly cried on the way home, and I went straight home. And then the first thing I did was call Fox 35 News to see if we can air some missing children information out there.
When you say ugly crying, just overly emotional tears, makeup running, or is there what is your meaning of ugly crying?
Sobbing where I couldn't see the road, and I shouldn't have been driving. I was swerving.
Makes sense. Did Fox 35 come out to your house, or what was their response?
They responded the following day. I think we did a Zoom video interview.
Did Stefan follow you home?
I don't know if he followed me, but he drove home, yeah.
Was it within a reasonable time when you got there?
Yes.
Okay.
Drove home. We waited there. We didn't know what to do. I stayed up late. I think I called Fox 35. What else did I do? I think I had to eventually eat and take my medication. He told me he was going to go out cruising that night to go look for her. And I said, I even questioned that. I asked him, are you sure it's a good idea? You should probably sit tight. Let's just wait to see if she comes home. And he said he was going to take a drive out. I had completely forgotten about him wanting to take the drive, or that he actually did it. And it wasn't confirmed to me until the following day, where agents came to the house and we sat in the car for a good amount of time. And I noticed the chair was adjusted. And I said, did you drive my car? And he said, yeah, remember I said I was going out last night? That's right, you did say that.
Hey, Alex. So yes, Alex has also received all the files thus far, including this video, and she'll be breaking it down in the morning. So check that out in case you end up dropping off out of the stream tonight. There'll be another opportunity to hear some good insight and comments on somebody who cares about the case, obviously, but also has really good insight. So we have spoken before about the fact that the cadaver dog sort of was more interested in Jenn's car than it was the Lincoln. And him driving out there at night concerns me. What exactly did he do out there, and why would possibly decomp be more prevalent in Jenn's car than the car that she was slumped over in riding around with him? I think I'm sort of alluding to something, but I obviously can't say what I'm kind of thinking. And I just hope that that's not the case, but he's a sick SOB. So even people in comments have said, I think that this could have some of that involved in it, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And he's just sick. So is that why decomp was more prevalent possibly in Jen's car? I'm just speculating, of course.
Can he tell you where he looked?
I think he said up and down 192, and I said, why there? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just looking. I was just trying to look anywhere. And I'm just like, okay.
Did he say if you found anything or talked to anybody, or just roamed?
Yeah, roamed.
When you were getting ready for bed, you were tired, emotional. Were you falling asleep when he left, or were you already asleep when he left?
I was already asleep when he left.
Okay. Did you sleep downstairs? In your bedroom? When you woke up, was he already awake? Was he still sleeping?
He was asleep in his bedroom upstairs.
The guest bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you take your medication that day?
I did.
What did you guys do Tuesday? Or just you? You guys, if you're not together, you're not together. What's the timeline on Tuesday?
Tuesday, he slept. I woke up early and started making phone calls to like the National Hotline for Missing and Exploited Children. I called the number that the sheriff's office had given me to see if they had any information, and they let me know that she was like the what did she say she was? I don't remember what she said her position was, but she had just gotten into the office and was just starting to work on it, so she didn't have anything new for me. Her name was Bonnie Mitchell. I remember that. She asked me to send her some photos. The National Exploited Children's Hotline place asked me for photos as well. I think at this point, I had asked my friends and family to start contacting news outlets.
So are you referring to the one where she speaks on Woody Allen, the Woody Allen comparison criminality, and how that was her biggest fear? Because that interview, I believe, is no, I know for a fact that it's before they found her. That was during the day, earlier on in the day, and then they find her around 4 something later. And it is different than this one.
To try to get as much attention on this as possible. I had a lot of phone calls coming in, and I was picking all of them up, hoping that any of them could help me. But it ended up being news reporters or people who had seen my phone on my phone number on a flyer and was trying to give me suggestions. Somebody letting me know that they took flyers all the way to Orlando International Airport and posted them all over the place in case she was being trafficked. They suggested that I go to Amtrak and Greyhound. I had my sister making all these runs for me. I didn't leave the house to do any of this.
Stefan's still asleep.
Yeah. Eventually, reporters come to the house and do an interview. And at this point, Stefan was awake. I did an interview with them, and then Stefan was crying in the background. And I said, Stefan, do you want to do the interview? You can if you want. And he sat in front of the camera and did an interview where he cried.
Do you know which news outlet that was with? I know there's a video on Fox 35 where
With
you
him
guys
sitting
appeared to be on like a webcam.
Yeah, that was Zoom. He was sitting in the
Zoom.
background for me.
Okay.
I know
but
that
you
one.
had in-person interviews with reporters?
Yes. I want to say it was Channel 9.
Okay.
Yeah, Channel 9.
And he spoke to them?
Yes.
Okay.
And he ugly cried in front of the camera too, so he was fucking fake sob crying.
Are you saying that now, or do you?
I'm saying that now. I didn't
Okay.
think that at the time. At the time, I thought he was truly heartbroken and not that he had done all this shit to her. Like, I look back at shit now, I'm just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about?
Shouldn't she be way more upset at this point?
I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents, and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents. But I don't know why I never thought, not me.
The lies are about money. They're about where he's at, what he's doing. What's he?
Yeah, all that.
To his parents.
Yeah, he's stolen money from his parents. They used to have a few $1,000s hidden in like a closet for emergency fund kind of thing.
And remember, they suspected that he stole Madeline's Christmas money as well, and she still let him come around.
During COVID, he stole, like, he wanted RC cars. See, if he wants something, he's gonna get it, no matter what. So he wanted RC vehicles, the remote control cars, fancy ones. They were a few $100s, and I'm poor. I know I can't afford it, and he's showing up at home with these things. And I asked him, where are you getting the money from? Because we don't have this money.
I will say people have speculated on images being sold for money. Possibly Jenn knew about it as well. I will say she does always push this whole, I don't have any money, I'm on disability, we don't go out much because we don't have that kind of money. It's just always have you guys noticed that? In a lot of her interviews, she kind of emphasizes how poor they are, etc. And it's like, is she trying to play down that they were getting other money? Because Chris, Stefan's dad, seems to think that they had money, and specifically Stefan. And he insinuated that they were all involved in something together too.
He goes, oh, my dad. And I said, your dad gave you money? He goes, no, I took some from his closet. And I was like they have an emergency stash? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's going to notice money's missing. And he's like, no, he won't. It's so much money in there, he won't notice at all. I've confirmed with Chris later on that he did notice money, but he never asked his son. But I let him know, yeah, he was robbing you and just buying himself toys. He's also lied most recently.
So she seemed to come out and throw Stefan under the bus to his father and let him know, like, yeah, he was lying to you and stealing from you.
He lied to his parents about where he would be. He told them he would be at his friend's house playing video or board games or something like that, but in reality, he came all the way to Kissimmee to hang out with us.
Okay. But you guys were together Wednesday? After all the interviews, did he stay Wednesday? Would you? I know
yes.
We had some detectives go meet you guys Wednesday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Were you guys in the house together until detectives came?
Yes.
What kind of happened after detectives came?
Do you feel like everything starts to get blurry?
Oh, I get it. Trust me. We've been in this office for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, so I just don't remember what day I had conversation with you guys.
Tuesday night, Orange County detectives came out there because I ended up coming out Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember seeing me or not that night.
Okay.
That was the first night we were at the apartment into the nighttime.
Yeah, is that when you guys shut down the house for forensics?
Yes.
Okay. So
tell us about that.
Okay. So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stefan for his cell phone. if he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? Should I have? And I'm like, no, if you've got nothing to hide, give him your fucking phone. And I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening and you guys told us to wait outside and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for fucking ever. I don't give a shit. We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like, if you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious as fuck. Like, what are you doing?
Why is she giving him tips on how not to look suspicious?
I'm thinking he's just getting impatient because he's bored and wants to play on his phone. And at one point, he takes my phone to start playing with it. I give it up. And I said, here, play on my phone. Have fun. Because I think from my phone, he was trying to log into his emails, but he couldn't. Because you need like 2-factor authentication from your own phone. And I'm just like, what are you trying to look at? And he's like, oh, my shipments, my packages. He's addicted to buying shit. That's another thing. Me and his dad couldn't figure out where Stefan was getting money from to buy stuff since he's been unemployed the last 2 months, but he's constantly buying himself packages, buying himself things off of Amazon, buying himself things off the line.
Is this stuff you can confirm, or you think he's doing this?
What?
Buying packages.
I can confirm because I am linked to his Amazon account, okay. And his parents can confirm whatever UPS packages or whatever he's getting at home. But I'm linked to the Amazon account. If you guys have my phone, you'll see whatever shipment. I think most recently I did like birthday party. If you see birthday party stuff, that was me. But everything else, him.
Interesting that they share an Amazon account, because that would almost insinuate that they share possible like finances and stuff, which kind of plays into the whole theory of like images being sold. I don't know. I'm keeping it out there. I'm not ready to believe that Jenn, if he was selling stuff, that Jenn had no idea. Why is she confronting him and acting suspicious, yet telling police she never suspected anything? Good point. Yeah, she has sort of played it off like that. She's very she's always contradicting her statements pretty much. And it's really easy to catch her in it too. I agree. She's lying about too much protecting him. Her card is probably on that Amazon. I'd be very curious to know more information on their finances too. Like what was shared and what was being bought.
He's constantly buying stuff and he doesn't have money. He keeps saying he's got money in his savings, but me and his dad called bullshit because he hasn't had, when he lived with us, he was struggling. His dad was helping him pay his bills, paying his rent, paying his gas, paying his insurance. Stefan was helping us, supporting us by buying food and all that stuff. But I don't know what he did with the rest of his money. And I don't know where he's getting money from now.
Okay. You were telling us that he was trying to log into his emails.
So he's trying to log into his emails on his phone. And I said, 2-factor authentication, you can't do anything. You're just going to have to wait till you get your phone back. What else?
Oh, he's not getting that phone back.
We waited in the car. I think at this point, when I noticed that forensics was locking down the house and you guys said we couldn't come back, I told him to call his dad. Because I had a feeling y'all knew something and it was going to come down on him. And I'm just like, they're focusing on the wrong person. They have the wrong person.
you had a feeling that they were going to focus on him and they're focusing on the wrong person, but you just said a couple minutes ago that you were suspicious of why he needed his phone so badly that he was going to possibly ask for it, and that would look even more suspicious. Like, what the heck? She's making no sense.
Person. In my head, I'm convinced you guys are just, that you had the wrong person. I wanted to think that he was good.
Why would she want to think that he was good when he was the last one to see her? He left his phone at home when he dropped off Madeline. He factory reset his phone, and you knew about that as well. Oh, he also took your car in the middle of the night to drive around.
Before we get ahead of that, what is the conversation like between you two when you're in the car? Because y'all were in there for a good while we were trying to figure things out at your apartment complex or your condo. What's the conversation like inside that car?
I'm trying to think back to what exactly we were talking about. I know I remember late in the like when you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and they called his dad, or we called his dad. I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. And he kept saying the same thing.
So here she is suggesting he gets a lawyer. Because, she thinks they're focusing on the wrong person. Instead of just having common sense, I mean, could she be in denial? Yes.
He kept repeating what I was repeating. That they're focusing on the wrong person. They're wasting time there.
How did he feel when you said he needs a lawyer?
He didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, don't you see forensics is closing down the house? They fucking know something, or there's something, like, they know something. Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down the house this way if they didn't have suspicions of something. But I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking him. Like, I was just like, no, they've got the wrong guy. He just kept saying that they have the wrong guy, that they're focusing on the wrong person, and that we're wasting time, and we call his dad. We tell his dad to come down here, and his dad did come down here and met us at a hotel. That was another thing. I don't have that much money. I live off of disability.
Here we go again about how poor she is. Again, I'm just wondering if she's just downplaying it because maybe she was involved in some financial business relations with her daughter and stuff being sold. Again, it's just speculation. We have nothing to really say that it was happening just yet. It's just been speculated on.
I couldn't afford to put us up on a hotel. Like, when you guys said that we couldn't return, I was like, I didn't know where to go. I was trying to think if any family member would have a spare room or anything like that, and not that could take the three of us, or when I say three of us, I mean him and the dog. And I know at my mom's house, we wouldn't have been welcome. My mom does not like Stefan. She's never liked Stefan. So I knew that our only option was to go to a hotel, but I couldn't afford it. So we called Chris, and Chris met us at a hotel by Disney,
Okay.
off of Western Way, and that's where we went. We got there pretty late. We checked in. I used the restroom, and I was getting ready for bed, or laying down in bed probably around 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, and I fell asleep. Stefan was already asleep at this point.
Did you go straight to sleep when you got in, or just kind of drifted off as you were falling asleep? Like you went to the bathroom and he goes straight to bed?
He was already in bed before I went to the bathroom.
Okay.
I was on my phone for a little bit. He was laying in bed snoozing. I went to use the restroom. I was in the restroom for quite a while because I had like a terrible sub. When I came back out, he was asleep. At least I thought he was asleep. But
His dad stayed with you guys?
not in the hotel room. He stayed in a different room on the same floor.
Okay.
The following morning, I wake up, I think around 9 o'clock in the morning, and Stefan's not there. And I remember thinking, he left again without his phone and didn't tell anyone where he was going. That's suspicious as fuck again. Why is he trying to?
Well, we took his phone, so he got a new phone?
He didn't get the new phone until later that day, where his dad woke up, came to our hotel room, and then handed him a phone.
Okay.
And said, here, have this phone in the meantime until you get your old phone back.
So you're just saying he's out and about with no phone?
Yeah, he's out and about with no phone, so there's no way for us to contact him. There's no way for us to. I didn't know if he even knew how to get back to the hotel. Because I drove that night. He's a little oblivious to when it comes to directions. So I was just like, he couldn't even figure out how to get here. But he rolled in around 11:15. Rolled in with a cup of Wawa. And said, oh, I'm so sorry. I was just driving around. I grabbed some Wawa on 182 and got lost. I didn't know how to get back to the hotel. But I'm here now. And I'm just like, detectives are about to show up. What the fuck would have happened if they showed up and you weren't here? Like, you would have been a fugitive. Like, what are you doing? And he was just apologetic about not telling anyone where he went.
But he had a Wawa cup and he said he was up at 192.
Yeah, but in reality, I know that he truly took my car in the middle of the night to Northport, Florida, and was down there for an hour and came back. I didn't suspect that at all.
Okay.
I literally thought, I'm like, oh, this man, we were right next to like a Target. So I'm thinking, oh, he's probably like stress shopping, just looking at stuff. He likes to browse. I was like, maybe he's in there somewhere. But I didn't have a car. I couldn't go out looking, right? And also, detectives were coming, so I didn't want to leave. Detectives eventually show up.
She never really did do much searching for her, did she? In fact, in a media interview, she said she was staying by the phone and at home, and her family was out looking.
We were in the hotel room for a while. He went back to sleep and slept. I took a little snooze for a little bit that morning, and then I got up, and then I went downstairs to the lobby, and I saw Chris. And Chris asked if I wanted some lunch, so we went to the hotel bar and ate some lunch. We brought up some lunch back for Stefan, told him to eat a little bit. When he woke up, he took like 2 bites. Then detective showed up. We went downstairs. They let us know that there was a press conference happening, which we already had an idea was going to happen. And they told us they would give us a ride and escort us to the conference here. And that you guys would let us in the back way so that media wouldn't see us. a reality. Now I know that was just the interview, guys. Us. But yeah, then we showed up here and got separated. Haven't heard from him since. Haven't spoken to him since. Have no interest in speaking to him at all. Yeah, that was it then. Then we got interviewed.
What have you done since? Like, where did you go back to the hotel? Did you stay somewhere else?
No. So after the interview and all that stuff, Chris took me to my sister's house. I've been at my sister's house ever since.
Okay.
Yesterday I went out for a little bit to go to Target to try to take my mind off of things. I went to Target to go get myself a toothbrush and deodorant, things that I didn't have because I left the house the last second. I also went to my ex-husband's wife's mom's house. Complicated.
So ex-husband, I believe she's referring to that Steve guy or Steven. So she goes over to her ex-mother-in-law's house. Okay. Unless she's referring to Madeline's father. Were they ever married? Refresh my memory, guys.
But we're all friends.
So,
Yeah. And they consoled me. They just kept me company. They made lunch. Then I went back to my sister's house, and I've just been pretty much there ever since. Now, when I went to Target, I decided like, oh shit, I shouldn't be out in public. People could recognize me. It can either be good or bad. What people could tell me. I've already had people recognize me in my community, and dealing with people's heavy emotions and them coming to me and crying and telling me they're so sorry and how they feel is so heavy because like I just have to kind of stand there and take their emotions and like I don't know, it's so heavy. When I realized that these are the interactions I was having in public, I'm like, I need to stay home because I just can't carry anyone else's emotions right now. I have my own to deal with, like my own. I don't want my own mental health suffering right now, or for me to spiral and end up back being hospitalized.
So when did you meet Steven or Stefan?
I met Stefan in 2017. We both worked for Eco Homes, a real estate company. I did appointments, and he worked in the office doing like warranty work. We met as coworkers. We became really good friends. We were best friends for like a year. And then eventually I asked him if he wanted to hook up, and he said, sure. And yeah.
That's romantic. I asked him, you want to hook up? So he didn't really even pursue her, it sounds like.
You said 17, 18. Did you live in Orlando, Kissimmee? Where were you guys staying then?
Kissimmee.
And did you guys live together in 17?
He technically lived at his parents' house, but he was staying at my house all the time.
Okay. Same house you're in now or a different house?
Wait, I take it back. In 2017, he wasn't staying over my house. It started in 2018 when we started hooking up, and he started sleeping over my house.
Okay.
And what were your next question?
Was that in the current
Yes.
house you live in now?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you lived in that house?
On and off, because at one point we moved close to where his parents live right now. They live in North Port Florida, Sarasota County. I lived in Port Charlotte, which is Charlotte County, the county right next door. We had an apartment there for like 6 to 8 months. We moved down there because Again, Stefan was promised a job and that fell through. So we supported ourselves in this tiny apartment for a little while until I ran out of funds.
Do you remember what year that was?
2020.
I agree.
So when did you live in Port Charlotte in 2020?
I don't remember what month I moved in, but I remember moving out in November.
Of 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was some. April, May.
That's fine. It was something we can look up if we need to later.
Yeah.
17. In 2017. So 2018. 6.
Remember, some things are redacted for a reason. So that's why the audio's hiccupy at times. Still no sound. KPM, your comment.
At the same time, no. But
Okay.
I've had ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends live in that same house before.
Got it.
So all this information we'll probably end up finding out at trial, but obviously right now, they would not release this conversation being said.
You moved to Port Charlotte sometime in 2020 for a few months.
Yeah.
And then you came back to the same house.
After Port Charlotte, I went back to my mom's house for a little while.
Where's that at?
In Hunters Creek, Florida.
Got it.
Even before Port Charlotte, actually, the few months before I was in Port Charlotte, I was living at my mom's house.
With Stefan.
Around March 20, decided he wanted to renovate the house and possibly sell it. So he told us to get out. So March 2020, so around COVID time, like 2 weeks after COVID was announced, I moved in with my mom.
Okay.
And I lived with her for a little bit. And then the Port Charlotte apartment happened. We moved to Port Charlotte, were there for a few months, came back to live with my mom, was there for a few months, and then I decided to move back. That he was moving out and like getting an RV and like living the RV life.
Yeah.
So he needed somebody to take care of the house for him. So I said, yeah, I would do it, of course. So I moved in. I moved into his bedroom, downstairs, the master bedroom. Eventually, Stefan did come. For a few years. It wasn't until like June of last year that
I know, all this redacted part is really interesting stuff too. It's not polite to tell secrets. Come on now. What's being said
I
here?
can go upstairs to the guest bedroom upstairs because I just he's not a very clean guy. He's kind of a little hoarder and a collector. So just my house was always a mess and never the way
Remember
that I
her
wanted it to
room?
look.
Her room looked cluttered
The
too.
clutter just gave me anxiety. So I asked him to move upstairs and he did. And he lived upstairs until until December of last year. And then he moved to Northport, Florida with his parents. But they had promised him a job, but that fell through. So we were in the process of trying to get him to come back up here to get his job back at Disney and for him to move back into the house for a little bit. I'm not sure long term. I know temporarily I was willing to accept him back.
Was that something out of convenience for him or because you?
a little bit of both. We missed him, and I wanted to help him out, like make it easy, like give him a place, like a base to start at, and then for him to start looking for something else afterwards, on his own. But yeah.
You obviously relationship. Talk a lot. Is she a secretive teenager? What is like your kind of day to day with her?
I would have said a normal relationship. I asked, she would tell me. I didn't think she.
And that's interesting that she said that Maddie missed him, because remember the counselor's interview that we read through? Part of the 900 pages. Oh, thanks, Johnny. He's handing out tacos for everyone on Tuesday, obviously. So remember the counselor's written interview that we read through? It's part of the 900-page document that came out a while ago. She stated that Maddie said that things were better after he left. So now this kind of contradicts Maddie's own statement that she made to the school counselor.
I didn't think she was hiding anything from me. I didn't think she was lying to me about anything, but obviously she had secrets.
I mean, the hindsight. I mean, all the stuff you found out over the past couple of days. We're like taking that out of the picture. Your relationship with her.
Okay.
Like not looking back saying, okay, I was being lied to. Like up until you found out some things that you've been told. You guys had an open communication relationship. You talk about
everything.
Life.
Yeah. If anything, she was a little bit more open with Stefan, because she told him about a boy she had a crush on.
Okay.
And that his name was. And she described him. And Stefan's like, "Are you aware that she has a crush on a boy?" I said, "No." He's like, "Yeah." She told me his name, that he's tall, and that she likes his fluffy hair.
When was this? Remember when this conversation happened?
Within the last week sometime, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like within, so we saw, so within a week of that Sunday.
So they just found out about the crush she had too. And now we talked about previously how she stated in an interview she doesn't like when when she never allowed her to go over for sleepovers. And we all speculated that it had nothing to do with her fears. It had more to do with, we think that they wanted to keep Madeline from getting close to people and opening up possibly about things that were going on. So that was like one of the reasons why they didn't really allow sleepovers. Could it also be that they didn't want her having a crush on a boy either? Because if she gets a boyfriend, same thing.
I'm not sure if if she had told him via phone chat. It must have been via phone, like phone convert, like we don't FaceTime, we Google Meet.
The Android
version of FaceTime, yeah. So we would Google Meet often. Sometimes when we get home from school, just talk all day, or sometimes not even talk all day. We would just bullshit. I would be doing my own thing. He would be doing. We're just keeping each other company on the phone. And I think in one of those conversations, she told him that she had a crush on a boy. But I checked those text messages with that boy, and nothing seemed weird either. So.
How did he? I mean, it could be new. I mean, she sees a guy at school. She thinks it's attractive. He shows her attention. I mean, she's young. How did he take it? Was he like? And I want you to think back before you know things you know now. Like, did he seem concerned about her? Did he seem excited for her? Like she's starting to, be a kid, have crushes and everything else. Like,
he seemed happy for her.
Okay.
He's like, "Yeah, did you hear this? This is super cute." And I was like, "Oh." I hadn't. She hadn't told me, and I wondered. I'm like, why didn't she tell me? Why did she tell him and not me? And like, I want to know who she got a crush on, but maybe it's because I told her she had a rule. She wasn't allowed to date for a few years, until like I think I had said 16 or something like that. but I didn't want her dating.
So then your relationship with her was open. Obviously, she's a child. She's not going to share everything.
Yeah.
With him, it seems like she has a very open relationship with him. They talk, they hang out.
More redaction, guys, but yeah, this is laughable. I don't know if these lies are coming from Stefan
So it'd
or
be okay
Jenn.
with you if they went out and did things together outside if you were at work or something? So the living situation with them, I'll be honest, seems weird. It's weird to me. She's got a bedroom downstairs. What's kind of the mindset or the thought process, the communication you've had with Stefan about, she's not going to sleep in her bed, but you guys are going to go sleep in the guest bedroom?
So originally, the plan was that all three of us were going to sleep in my bed together.
And I'm not just saying Sunday. I mean, like.
Oh, okay.
Like in the past, too.
So I had a rule. She wasn't allowed to sleep in his bedroom at all. Like, no sleepovers, no nothing. For a very long time. For years.
Since we're pausing,
Yeah.
What brought that on? Was that like a request of his, like, can we sleep in the same bed, request of hers, or you just saying?
Me being super paranoid, not to trust anyone. For the longest life, even though he treated her well, I still looked at him on, like side eye, like making sure, like, is that normal? Is this okay? That looks normal. Okay. I wanted to make sure that nothing was happening and that I was missing something, but I was. But he never requested. I'm sorry. Repeat the question then.
So I guess when you said, like, you had a rule, like, obviously we know now they've, slept in the same bedroom together and everything else. I'm sure you're questioning a lot of things that, like, you haven't been told or that are going on. The thought process of them sleeping in the same bedroom caused you to say that you had a rule for the longest time where they couldn't.
Yeah.
I have a son. He's a lot younger than her. He's 4. But I guess if I was dating somebody or had somebody over, I would never establish, and this is just me, a rule. He can't sleep in the bed with her, or she's not going to be. It wouldn't even be a thought process for me. So that's why I asked, because I wouldn't think of it even as an option.
Yeah.
So when you say you had a rule, I guess I'm asking what prompted the rule.
Sleepovers before. Yeah. Like, you want to watch movies and eat snacks? Can we do that? I'm like, no. We can all watch movies down here together. We can all sleep down here together. Up until June, together all the time.
Just pausing it quick to remind everybody that she had stated in another audio interview we listened to that there was nothing weird that ever stuck out to her about him. And yet here she says, she was paranoid and sometimes she would side-eye him. That's what she was saying basically, right, guys? Because here it's kind of, this statement is contradictory of what she stated in the other interview.
So we were always, she would sleep in the middle, I would sleep on this side, he would sleep on the other side. It wasn't until June that he got his own bedroom and I sent him upstairs. That's where the requests for sleepover started.
Okay.
And I kept telling her no. I'm not comfortable with that.
She says she's uncomfortable with it.
But eventually, at some point, like, we really want to watch. I forgot what movie it was. They really wanted to watch something, and I was really tired. And I said, okay, fine, go ahead, but this can't happen often. And yeah, I allowed her to go upstairs and sleep with him. But honestly, I think I can count on one hand how many times that's happened, and it hasn't been many times that I've allowed her to have a supper party with him, to be alone in a bed with him.
slumber party with him. I know. There's no words. Jen, you didn't just say, yeah, you didn't say shit. Right. You allowed it to happen. Hey, Holly. Yes, you'll have to rewatch. It gets better as it goes on from what I've heard. But we are doing like live reaction, but kind of pausing minimally.
I'm usually around all the time. I'm up until 2 weeks ago, I was pretty much at home all the time living on disability. If I wasn't at home, just, I was substitute teaching, but I was substitute teaching primarily at her school or at the school close by, but I'd make sure I get out around the same time and I'd get out in time to pick her up and take her. So she was with me pretty much all the time when she wasn't at school. So yeah, after.
When he's not there, where does she sleep?
With me.
She never sleeps in her room?
No, always with me.
Quickly, do you know, and you may hate the question, but do you have any idea? We currently have upwards, probably 200 people working on fire. Right, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is involved, the Kissimmee Police Department's involved, St. Cloud Police Department, Osceola County Sheriff's Office, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FBI.
Right.
Yes, under suspicious circumstances. So anybody who is somebody is involved.
Yeah.
So regardless of the circumstances, those people don't get to go home. Those people don't get to go back to their families. Those people don't get to live their lives and go back to their primary jobs. I know the sheriff has probably expressed to you that's his number one priority. I'm sure the Kissimmee Police Department's expressed that to you, our detectives. This isn't something that's going to stop or go away.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody who knows something, anybody who may know something, will be brought into a room, will be talked to, whether they're guilty, whether they're innocent. Because our number one priority, our jobs have kind of stopped on any other things we have going on until it's fine, because that's the most important thing anybody has going on right now. But with that, a lot of people are going to feel that whatever happened, I can tell you, and I know Pete detectives expressed to you that the thought process at this point is this is a homicide investigation.
Yeah.
Based on the evidence I've seen, based on the videos I've seen, I do believe. With that being said, and the reason I tell you that, not to be an asshole, is because the thought process with us leads it in a different investigation, a different way. Meaning, whatever has already happened, right? We cannot change what happened most likely on Monday. We cannot change the fact that I believe Stefan killed her, right? All we can do now is find her as quickly as possible. On the 2% chance we're wrong and that she is alive, that's phenomenal, right? That's the best thing that could happen. On the chance that we are 100% correct and she has passed away, finding her now versus later will bring closure to your family, will bring closer to everybody, regardless of how it happened or why it happened. Meaning, if you have an inclination, if you know where she's at, if his father knows, that doesn't mean those people get held accountable for what he did. It doesn't mean those people get held accountable for knowing what he did. It means we close out the investigation. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we go into rooms like this and we ask people questions. We say, hey, do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? And there's this fear of what happened already happened. I can't change that. So I'm not going to insert myself with knowledge because it's going to make me look bad. Regardless, at this point, I murdered her, right? He victimized her. He ruined her entire life from childhood until now. I think that there's probably some sense of guilt. And my fear is that sense of guilt is causing you to not want to assist in the location of her, not because you're a bad person, but because there's that sense of guilt that what was happening under your roof. And now, by her being found, brings that all to your plate, and it doesn't.
Oh no. If I knew anything, I would so tell you. I want to even if she's dead, because you guys tell me you're suspicious, but I'm not going to believe it until I have her body.
So there are things, and the reason I say these things, and again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but the reason I say these things is there's been a lot of things you've said and a lot of things I've kind of researched between the Fox 35 story, between your initial statement to the police. A lot of things have changed. The initial statement to the police was you watched her get dressed, you watched her leave, you knew exactly what she was wearing.
Can I tell you
Absolutely.
my thought process on
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
or where I came from with that? I was handed this form, and I'm like, where do I start? What do I write? And somebody said, tell them what you saw. And so I started with I saw, and then I wrote out what I wrote out. But it wasn't until later I was like, wait, I didn't see her. I assumed that I saw her. I assumed that I heard her, but I didn't. In reality, I didn't see her. I only saw him, and I heard something in the kitchen, but I don't know who that was.
Which we talked about today. But I guess there's other concerns. Right? You are nervous. The police have showed you their hand. They said, Stefan, we want your phone. Stefan, we want to talk to you. We're going to lock down your residence. You can't go back inside. Me? I don't care if it's the love of my life sitting next to me. I don't care if it's maternal grandma. If the police come and take my mom's phone and my son's disappearance, I'm not going to offer my mom a lawyer. That's nuts to me.
Right.
That to me shows you prioritizing Stefan. Because at that point, you became more worried about him being falsely accused than any.
Yes.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not.
And it goes back to the earlier part that we watched tonight where she said when he was asking for his phone and wanting his phone back, she's like, if you go ask for your phone right now, you're going to look really suspicious. You know, giving him tips on, how to not look suspicious instead of just noting to herself, this is suspicious. I need to tell law enforcement without Stefan knowing.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not that's what you felt. Does that make sense? People having lawyers is their constitutional right. That is a thing that everybody is afforded. But for somebody who's going through what you are going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt.
I promise you.
Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if?
So she just said she knew about the SA stuff, but she didn't believe that he did anything evil to her. Hold on, let me rewind that just a sec.
Somebody who's going through what you are going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt.
I promise you.
Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if?
Oh my God. Did you see the cop's face when she said that? If he did this stuff fine, but what if Oh my gosh, you have to see the cop's reaction. He can't even believe what he just heard.
Interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her? I still wanted to believe I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing? But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy. I wanted to think he was a good guy still, but clearly he's not. After everything you guys have told me and have shown me, I know he's the worst person on this face of the
You
earth
know
right
that
now.
now. We know he's a piece of shit now.
You know,
But you didn't know that then.
I didn't.
Then you offered a guy who the police suspected of kidnapping, abducting, assisting the disappearance. Offered him a lawyer. And then we don't have to roundtable that. You went back to what you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
It's not fine.
Hold on.
You
I
said
know every relationship
fine.
is different, and I know everybody's family is different. I won't ask, but going back on, has he expressed interest in? I'll use the word weird. I'm not going to shame anybody for what they like. Different sexual pleasures, different sexual experiences, different kinks that involve things you aren't comfortable with.
The only thing he's ever expressed to me was like anal.
Okay.
He had an anal kink and like butts.
Okay.
But that was something I was never comfortable with or doing, and I let him know that like that's not like something.
That's fine. You guys slept in the same bed together. Stephen was a big portion of your life at one point. Stefan was a big portion of your life at one point. And this is not me coming at you as a person or a bad person, because shit happens in the past, in the past, in the past. We can't change the past. Has he ever expressed to you anything? Never.
Never.
Has he ever made these statements about made you feel different?
No.
Okay. When you guys slept in the same bed together, in the middle, did you ever wake up and find them cuddling? Did you ever wake up and find them closer than you thought they should be?
They would snuggle, yeah.
Okay.
But we all snuggle. I didn't think that was abnormal.
So if you guys are sleeping in the same bed and she's in the center, you've woken up and they're snuggling. They're under the same blanket. They're not under the same blanket.
No.
But just like
she's got her own blanket. He's got her
spooning
own.
for what? What is snuggling to you? Because to me, snuggling, spooning, big spoon, little spoon.
He would lay down like this, and she would be right here in the nook.
Okay.
How
do you guys sleep? You guys sleep clothed, unclothed? I sleep clothed.
Yeah.
Shirt, pants, pajama sets.
Yes.
Everybody.
I sleep in like my everyday clothes.
Okay.
On pajamas or baggy t-shirts and shorts.
Okay.
And Stefan would sleep with his t-shirt or boxers, sometimes with his pants on. But he didn't have pajamas.
Okay. So they would snuggle, sometimes him being in his boxers. You would wake up and she'd be in the nook of his arm, or essentially in a cuddling position. And you never found that weird?
No.
Okay. Again, you and I may find things different. Why? And I don't want you to look back on it, because now you know you victimized her for a long time, right? Under your roof. With you home, most likely, because you said you're always home. You just got this job. You've been living off disability. I know the Kissimmee Police Department has showed you pictures. I know they've verbally explained to you some pictures. I can tell you that today, we are still downloading his Google Drives. We are still going through his social medias, his cloud-based servers, and everything else. And we can now piece back her victimization in your house under your care to 2020. I believe you've gone as far back as in when she. So when I ask, they've woken up cuddling, did you find things suspicious? Did you have an open relationship? Did he talk to you? Has he made inappropriate statements? It's almost like cheating, right? Like, have you ever been cheated on? Okay? Somebody can only cheat on somebody for so long until they fuck up, or until something comes out, or somebody says something, right? So we go back to 2020, we're looking at a minimum of 3.5 years. 3.5 years where I'm sure you guys are sexually active. You guys, yes. So for 3.5 years under your care in your house, not only was he being sexually active with you, he had a sexual relationship.
Okay, so do we believe this is the first time that she's finding this out, or do we think that she's upset because she knows that he's, cheated on her in a way with her daughter and she's upset about that? So is it because she feels that jealousy and betrayal by him and against her daughter, or is it because she's finding all this out for the first time? Please let me know your thoughts in chat and on replay as well.
And I know it's an emotional thing, and I know it sucks to hear. But where I'm coming from is it seems like something that you can't hide forever. You guys live in a small space, close quarters, you sleep in the same bed. You guys all talk, you guys all share things. You're an observant person for the most part, I assume. Outside of taking medications and going to sleep, it seems very difficult. A lot of grown-ass adults can't hide an affair with somebody who doesn't live with them, let alone somebody who does live with them. So at a certain point, I do believe you became aware of what was going on.
No.
And when I say that, it doesn't mean you're in trouble. It doesn't change.
I know, but
I do believe that a reasonable person, and I consider you a reasonable person, right? Do you think you're a reasonable person?
Yes.
Would be aware that under her roof,
Yes, Angie.
sexual relation.
I had no idea.
The videos, the text messages, the images, they are all documented forever. This has been an ongoing thing. And at her age, I think she probably thought they were in a relationship. She probably thought they were in love because he her male attention, right?
I think so too.
She just started liking boys, right? She just got a crush. Up until then, her crush.
Yep. Stefan gave her the love and attention that Jenn never did too. And by the way, this is
at the same time, you guys are sleeping in the same bed together. You guys are all cohabitating. She's not sleeping in her room. But you felt the need to establish a rule that they couldn't sleep in the same room. But when you establish that rule, for 3 years, she's already been dating him, essentially. Whether that's legal or not.
I had no idea.
So I truthfully believe, and this is my belief, I'm not speaking for other detectives, I'm not speaking for the sheriff's office, the state police department, or any other agency I've said. This is Kevin's belief. I believe that you became aware of their sexual relationship. I think at a certain point throughout this relationship, you became aware of it. And for whatever reason, your reasons are your reasons, whether it was discussed that it would stop, whether it was discussed how it would go, that you feel some sense of guilt. A lot of the news statements you've given kind of, again, my opinion only, I don't speak for anybody else, whether it's in this room or out of this room, bother me.
I'm pausing it quick because didn't her media interviews bother us too for the majority in chat?
It seems like some of your emotion, up until this room, I think some of the emotion in this room is sincere. I think a lot of it's because I'm being an asshole. I'm telling you things you don't want to hear that shouldn't be said out loud. But when you talk to the news, when you talk to deputies, it feels, based on my experience in this job, that it's not sincere. I feel like some of your sadness is not real sadness. I feel like when you gave the interview with Fox 35, it was not sincere. Looking at that video one time, I didn't feel like your cries were sincere. And I'm not saying that because you're a bad person. I feel like sometimes people struggle to show real emotion when they're aware of what the truth is. So it has to be fake. This is demise for the past, let's say, 5 years, right? But her going missing, her disappearance, if you have knowledge of how it happened, where it happened, an inclination, that emotion's not going to feel sincere because you're already aware of what happened.
I would.
It's almost becomes
If
a
I
lie
knew,
at that point.
if I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever the fuck you want, but I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. I was oblivious to everything. 4
But begging for sleepovers together wasn't a strange sign.
years.
Minimum. That's just how that far back the cloud goes. And I find it hard to believe for me that you were so worried about how many pills she took at night, but not where she slept or what relationship she was. His interest in her.
I thought we were all safe. I thought because in that he hadn't shown me anything so far, like everything seems fine. Like he seemed like he treated her like
he treats you. In his mind.
It's so fucking disgusting.
So now he's in jail because of what we found on his phone, not because somebody came forward and reported that he was abused.
No, I know.
She's not old enough to consent. She's not old enough to have a thought process to even want anything that was happening to her. It's abuse. So he's in jail for that, but something caused what happened, right? We searched murder because we can call it a murder. She didn't die naturally. She didn't overdose. She didn't have a heart attack. We circled murder on Monday. Something had to cause that. He's been having unrestricted sexual activity for a long time. He's getting what he wants from her, probably from you, and who knows whoever else, right?
I don't see
So it's
any
not like he
tears.
woke up or went to bed Sunday and he was like, you know what? I'm done with this, but I'm going to kill her. Something happened. People don't just wake up and like, you know what? They leave people, they break up with people, but usually things cause people to snap. Now, what? And you know what? And I'm in trouble, or I feel like I'm going to, or him being out. We can go even worse. She's pregnant.
That's what questions last night led me to believe when we started talking about her period.
I was told that her and her friend, and granted, I'm male, never had a period, but that somebody found it weird that they were no longer on the same cycle. Could be different because she's a teenage girl. Could be that she missed her period. Have you ever found a pregnancy test at home that wasn't yours?
I have 2 underneath the bathroom sink, but I haven't seen if they're still there or not.
Okay. But you haven't seen any used ones in the trash?
No.
Their relationship hasn't changed?
No.
Okay. So what do you think happened Sunday? Other than him killing her, what do you think made him snap?
I don't know. Theories, I keep hearing
Tell me your theories, because here's the deal. We don't go home until she's found.
No, I know.
So what are your theories?
What I've heard is, what if she upset him and threatened to tell me and say that she was going to tell me and he needed to shut that down? That's the only thing.
What do you think?
Interesting. So she's theorizing Maddie was going to tell her and that he wanted to silence her. But we've I think we should leave the door open for they both didn't want anyone else to be told about it. Both could be possible.
What do you think?
I believe. I don't want to believe he killed her. But for me, you guys are telling me he must have killed her Sunday night and snuck her body out in the morning. That photo you guys showed me of her stuff in the car.
You don't want to believe he killed her.
I want to believe she's still alive and that she got kidnapped, but that doesn't seem like that's the
Well, that's
case
not
at
what
all.
happened. Yeah.
I know. My brain just wants to believe something else. I just want to believe she's still alive. She's out there.
It's turning into
He tell
bad
you he
cop.
fucked up.
No. He acted so normal that day. He was like, I'm so impressed. We got out of the house so early. Like she made great time. We had so much time to go to McDonald's, but she didn't want to.
And remember, the neighbor, we keep emphasizing this, she just said that nothing was abnormal that morning. Neighbor states in his written interview, or her, I can't remember, it was a couple that lives near them, that Jenn is the only one who walks the dog.
His story was so fun. Like, every detail was so believable. He's just been lying this whole time. Like, he's.
What about that day in the car when you offered him a lawyer? Did you disclose anything to you there that made you feel like, oh fuck, he needs a lawyer?
No. He kept acting like he didn't know what was happening. And I'm like, don't you see forensics? Don't you see they took your phone? Like, something's happening. Like, I think they're going to pin this on you. And I'm like, in my head, I'm going, they have the wrong guy. Like, they're just honing in on the last person who saw her. But no, you guys knew more.
You never said, what did you do?
I've never asked him any of that. I still, even up until when we got here to the police station, I was convinced that he hadn't done anything to her at all.
Because of him or because of not wanting to believe she's deceased?
Because of him. Because I thought he was a good guy.
So up until this morning, you still think that it's not?
No.
You're talking about the other day?
Up until
When we took him?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot what day of the week that was.
So we're still going through his phone, his drive, like I told you, all his socials. We can date back to 2020. Based on the videos, it appears that was the start of the victimization. Okay, are we going to find anything in his phone with you?
No. We never done anything. We've never done anything.
Has there ever been a request for the two of you to participate in sexual activity with him?
No.
Regardless of you saying no or yes?
No, he's never asked that.
Okay. If we find pictures like that, is that going to surprise you? So if I'm in his Google Drive, if I have a sex crimes detective, a computer person look at his phone, and they tell me, hey, Kevin, I found a picture engaged in sexual activity or borderline sexual activity, is that going to surprise you?
Yes, because that doesn't exist.
Okay. At any time during the course of your relationship, has he expressed that he has ever had sex with a child?
No. Not a child, but when he told me when he was in high school, he graduated high school like later, like older than 18.
Okay.
He dated somebody younger than 18. I think she was 15. But I don't know how old he was, 19, 20. But he was an older kid in high school. He graduated late. But he had a really young girlfriend. Her name was Kendall. And I thought that was weird. I was like, that's a little too young. He goes, no, it's fine. We were in high school. Everything was normal. Her parents loved me. Blah, 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 blah. But that's the only one.
Have you ever gone through his phone?
Who, me?
Okay. If you had to, knowing Stefan, knowing where he lives, knowing where he goes, how he conducts his life, give me your top 5 Because I know you haven't thought about it. If you haven't thought about it, that's another weird thing I got. Since Monday, right? We told you on Wednesday that we think he did it.
Yeah.
So from Wednesday till today, it's about 48 hours. Give me your top 5 places you think are possibilities based on knowing him, based on knowing his path of travel. Where do you think? It doesn't have to be based on evidence, just in your gut. Give me your top 5 places where you think he.
Let's see if that highway that he said he was on when he was looking for her, was that the highway that she was found on? Does anyone know? If you know what I'm talking about, chime in, chat.
In this area,
Doesn't have to be this area.
No, I know.
Anywhere you want.
I'm saying in this area, I have no idea. Orlando, Kissimmee, no idea where he could have taken her. But his trip to Northport is weird as fuck. I feel like in Northport, he knows more people. He has more friends. There could be a place and somewhere there he could have stashed her. You guys said he went into a storage unit. That would be another place to look. But there's plenty of woods around his house. Around that exit is kind of secluded. Like,
When you say his house, you mean his parents' house?
his parents' house, yeah.
You've been there? Or you've seen the property?
Yeah, I've been there before.
Do they have land? Or is it in like a neighborhood?
So it's not a neighborhood because they don't have HOA. You just buy the plot of land and build it. They don't have many neighbors.
Okay.
Or last I saw, I think there was a neighbor building right next door, but I don't know if they're done yet. I just feel like he had more. There would have been more spots in Northport for her to be dumped. Because from what you guys have told me, he went to St. Cloud.
Just listen to the way that she describes it. For her to be dumped. Yes, stashed. How can you say these things? Right. No emotion. Mm-hmm.
He went to 192. Could you guys tell where he turned on on any of these roads? It's just that he was on the main road. I didn't think he ever even knew where St. Cloud was because we've never driven down that way ever.
You live in Kissimmee, right?
Yeah, I know, but to me, he's never had a reason to ever drive down to St. Cloud, ever. There's no store or anything he goes to down there. Everything is in Kissimmee or Orlando by the mall.
Florida Mall?
Yeah.
Orlando Mall?
Yeah,
Florida.
Florida. I sent the last detective 3 spots. I could have recalled him telling me he wanted to visit. Monday, when he left the house in the afternoon and got the flat tire, he had mentioned a few of those shops, so I sent them over to you guys. There's honestly nowhere I can think of. We've never gone to the only wooded area that we've ever gone together would be Shingle Creek Regional Park, where the Pioneer Village is.
Okay.
That whole trail there, we had scooters, and he had an electric skateboard kind of thing. We would all cruise. We would all cruise the creek, explore. We've taken a canoe up that creek before. Then the Kissimmee Trail. There's a trail that runs right behind my house starts right behind my house and goes all the way to that bridge on John Young Parkway that says Kissimmee on it. That whole trail, we've done that as well. That's the only places I could think that like he may have gone, because that's where I know I've gone with him before. But anywhere else, I have no idea.
So our ERT team, it's called Emergency Response Team. It's just a group of people who search areas. It doesn't have to be wooded, can be wooded, can be swampy. They've been out for 3 days. They're gonna be out all weekend. They will eventually, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's in 2026. Okay. I don't think you want that to take too long. Right? I'm sure you'd like to have a funeral. I'm sure you'd like to have some kind of memorial service. The last thing you want is for us to call you in a year and say, hey, we found remains. We don't know. Okay. That may not be something you thought about till just now, but I can tell you, being someone who investigates homicide, that is something that everybody has to come think about eventually. If you can think of anything that would assist us in making that happen for you today.
Okay, and she didn't suggest that highway. Maybe it was 192, Mayla's mom, that he told her he was driving out to that night when he took her car. Either way, she didn't list that, either of those highways, right? When they asked her where she might be.
Versus 2 years from now, regardless of why you know or how you know, we need it.
No, I know. If I knew anything, I would tell you right now. I promise. I want her back so bad. I don't want to think about planning a funeral.
What has your communication been like with his father since this?
I've limited contact over the last 2 days because I know too much and I don't want to tell them anything.
You don't want to tell them what we've told you, or you don't want to tell them what you know?
No, I don't want to tell them what you guys have told me. I don't want to share. It's so difficult because I've known them for just as long as I've known Steph, and they feel like absolute shit right now. I know that they kind of got into a fight because Chris are you sure we know our son? Are you sure we know our son? I don't think we know him at all. The mom was defending him, but now with everything, with the evidence on the phone coming out, they know. They know he's a piece of shit.
We've talked to his dad, and his dad knows as much as you know. He knows his son's a rapist. He knows his son's a murderer. He's talked to us. He's been very open with wanting to help in any way he can, whether that's technological, whether that's verbal.
Yeah, he even had. I was with him when he turned in his knife to you guys. He remembered he had a knife on him and gave it to you guys. I thought that was.
Have you talked to Chris about Stefan needing a lawyer?
Yeah.
When?
I think when you guys showed me the photos.
So we showed you photos.
Did you notice how upset she was and now she's just back to talking like quietly and normal?
Of Stefan raping. And
No.
the first thought you had was to ask his father if he should get a lawyer?
No. I saw a picture. I didn't see the rape. I didn't know she was getting raped until yesterday. I saw the picture of the oral sex happening, and I knew that was true, right? That's evidence. That's for real. That's fucking happening. But I kept thinking,
not the R word.
you're going. I don't know why I can't tell you why my brain kept thinking, no, he didn't kill her. Not that he didn't kill her, but she's still missing. She's still out there. She was taken. Yes, he's done this to her, and that's not okay. But I swore I felt in my body she was still alive. She was still out there. I told Chris to get him a lawyer because I felt like you guys were chasing the wrong person.
What?
But you weren't. You're not.
We showed you a picture.
She's seen imagery that should be enough to just let him rot for the rest of his life somewhere. And she's suggesting he gets a lawyer.
The picture you saw, she was giving a blowjob to a grown-ass man, and you told his dad to get him a lawyer. Missing, right? Now you, but then you just thought she was missing. And we were showing you our investigative lead being raped. A blowjob is rape. Not consensual. Whether she wants to do it or not, that is not consensual.
And again, she breaks down the most when they're talking about stuff like this. But when they're talking about looking for her dead or alive, she's totally fine with the conversation. But when it comes to, him cheating on her, quote unquote.
And you prioritized him again. You prioritized him by offering him or telling his dad to get him a lawyer. Not, what the fuck did he do? Not, hey, we need to figure out what happened. No, let's protect Stefan.
I was in shock.
No, that's not shock. That is your natural instinct to protect Stefan.
Once again, goes from ugly cry face to I was in shock. Totally normal sounding.
Okay? And if that's naturally how you react, that's fine. But that goes into what I've been telling you this whole conversation is I don't believe a lot of the things you're saying, and I don't believe a lot of the things you say you weren't aware of. And that is because you've now shown me twice that your first reaction, no matter what you were told or shown, missing and we're seizing the cell phone, or we're showing you pictures of her giving him a blowjob, your first reaction is to protect Stefan. So now, ordered by Stefan, you're aware of this. You were shown pictures of this. You were shown pictures of her body in his car with a seatbelt on, right? We have played it out for you. Now you're in a stage where he's in jail. You know she's passed away, and now you can feel emotion, right? Until that point, when you were shown that she was deceased, your continued first reaction is to protect this guy. You just said, I only saw a picture of him, whatever your verbiage was, I say blowjob, of his penis in her mouth, and your first reaction was, fuck. Oh my, victimized? No. She's being abused? No. It's Stefan needs a lawyer.
Bet she didn't expect.
Who the fuck cares if we think he killed her?
I don't know why I said that.
But that's the problem. You don't know why. So the reaction in your mind is you are continuously protecting this guy. So why do I sit here and believe that you don't? Because right now, you know Stefan killed her. You know Stefan's been raping her. You know without her body, can he be charged with murder?
I don't know.
Exactly. So you don't know what we can do. Do I think we can charge him with murder? It's not up to me. Should he be charged with murder? Yes.
Please.
Does your role in her life lead this to happen? I'll be honest. Yes.
I know.
Since she was a child, since her victimization started, it occurred under your roof and you acted like it didn't exist. And knowing the victimization, knowing how ongoing it is, knowing that you saw a picture of it, not just us telling you, not me and him saying, hey, listen, he's being think they had a bad relationship. They showed you a fucking picture of it. And you still protected him. So how am I supposed to not think that the thought process in your mind is until she's found, Stefan can't be charged with murder? Because we both now know that you don't want him to be charged with murder because you want him to have a lawyer.
No, I don't.
The blowjob.
That was
then.
He
can't be charged with murder.
That was then. Everything that you guys have shown me since then and have showed me that he's
So we had to show you a picture of her dead in the car for you to finally not take his side? Enough. Do you not see where I'm coming from? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but it makes absolutely no sense that your name is Stefan.
I don't know.
Where does your mind go? Stefan. There should have been no doubt in your mind when they showed you that picture of what he was doing to you, that you had any care in the world other than I want that motherfucker to die. Mm-hmm. Whether you believe in the death penalty or not, he protected him. So now we're talking about her disappearance and where her body is. Why do I believe that you're still not protecting him? Because you say so? Because you can't explain why you protect him. You can't explain what is inside of you that makes you protect Stefan. And you may never be able to explain it. But eventually we're going to have to figure it out because you haven't convinced me that you're still not protecting Stefan. I got all these people out here searching. I haven't seen my own kid in days because I'm looking. I truthfully believe that I can't go home and see my kid is because you're protecting. I can't. You're people sitting in the woods just waiting for me to tell them where to go, but I can't because I think you're in trouble.
I don't care about him. I want him to go to jail. I want the worst thing possible to happen to him in jail. I know what happens to predators in jail. Like, I'm ready for that. Like, please. I don't give a fuck about him. I'm not protecting him.
But you knew he was a predator when you got shown the picture. And then you text his dad that he needs a lawyer and you hope that he invoked, was the words I was told.
What?
You hope that he didn't talk to us. He needs a lawyer.
No.
All over a picture. You didn't care. You didn't care then. Oh, whether sex isn't important to you, that wasn't anything close.
I knew what I saw was
He was
terrible.
a predator right then and there. That's the day you found out he was a predator.
Yeah.
Yes. And after you found out he was a predator, did you not say he needed a lawyer?
I did.
So why today, Friday at almost 3 o'clock, 5 days into the disappearance, 2 days since you probably found out, or 1 day since you found out she was murdered, do I believe you that you're not telling me where he went, or that he didn't disclose to you where she was, or what caused this to happen is, listen, I know you know I've been doing whatever, or listen, this fucking happened. How do I believe that that didn't happen when everything you've shown me is protect Stefan? Now, once did you show priority in this conversation, in this investigation? You're coming here looking for her. You reported her missing. Trouble for not doing that. But outside of you reporting her missing, and I may be wrong, I haven't been involved in all aspects of it, but you have not shown me one bit that you prioritize her over him. And that sucks. Not because we're working our asses off for your family, not because we have people out there sweating their asses off for your family, but because I feel like all I care about is your care is to make sure Stefan doesn't get held fucking accountable.
Well, I don't care anymore.
Anymore. Because we're being assholes, because I'm not being nice.
No.
But up until Thursday, it was okay that she gave him a blowjob. No big deal. Get a lawyer.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't okay. I saw that and I was in shock. And I don't know why my first reaction was to tell him to get a lawyer, but I saw that and I was in shock and I was just like, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe.
It's easy to believe it now. We showed you pictures of it. You can't deny it anymore. The sex was okay. The murder's not. At least that makes sense.
No, that's okay.
I want to know what it is. And not because I think you're a bad parent, because I think you're a bad person. Dead or alive, she's missing. Her body is out there. Her body needs to be recovered so she can have a proper burial, a proper funeral. She needs to be laid to rest. Your family needs to be able to mourn her. And we need that information. That is life. That is not life of the law. That's not life of the sheriff's office. That is common decency. That is what she deserves. That is what you deserve. That is what your family deserves. But the longer that happens, the longer it takes us to find her, the less likely that's going to be for you guys. And I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I truly am. But deep down, you haven't showed me that I am.
I don't know what I need to show you.
Prioritize her over Steven. Think of places he would have dumped her body. Think of places he went, things you talked about, things you discussed, whether it's this week, last week. Don't put it in your mind that he's been victimizing you, or don't put in your mind that I'm being a dick. What can I think about to find out where Stefan put her?
Okay, we got some redacted.
You know more about where he goes, what he's doing, or what he would do than you want to realize. That's natural, not because I'm telling you, but because that's natural. I have best friends. I know more about them than I think I know about them. I just need to sit down and think about it. So I need you to sit down and think about it. Whether you need a minute, we're not in this room, whether you want to do it with us in this room, we need to leave here with an idea of where we can go look for. That is one thing we can agree on.
I've sent you a list of the stores that he may have stopped at, didn't stop at. The only outdoorsy places I can think of that we've ever gone to that he would know about would be Shingle Creek or Kissimmee Trail. I don't know if he knows where Lake Toho is, but that could be another option.
Because you think it's a wooded area, because it's a place you guys have talked about together.
Because it's a wooded area with a lake, with gators. Like, we haven't discussed anything. This topic, I never asked him if he directly. I never thought he could have. I always assumed the best in him.
Always assume the best of him, but you also said that he stole from his father. You thought he stole from Maddie's Christmas money, that he's the biggest manipulator. And for her to offer up that information that they never discussed, like where he would bring her or if he was involved in anything darker, like they didn't ask her that really. She just offered that up. So it makes me think that they did discuss it.
Him. But I didn't ask him directly. I didn't even suspect. Not until you guys showed me that picture upstairs. We're here. I don't know. I'm just thinking of, if I name places, it's going to be wooded areas that I can think of, but he hasn't told me anything. Like, he has not told me, or we haven't discussed.
So him going to 192 that day, all you know is that he went to 192.
He said he wanted to visit House Card Rules. That was one of he named 3 stores, and that's one store I can remember him listing on that list.
House Card Rules?
Yeah, I don't have my phone.
We'll get your phone a little bit. House Card Rules. What kind of store is that?
I don't know if that's like a video game or card game or board top game store.
But that's on 192.
Close to one. I think close to 182 somewhere.
And he said he wanted to go to 3 stores.
Yeah. But he did tell me that I just don't remember which one.
Are there woods in that area? Are you familiar with 192?
No, not where these stores are. I have no idea.
Other than you came up with wooded areas that you know of.
Yeah.
You came up with wooded areas that you think he could dump a body in.
Because I've been there with him, yeah.
I need to know wooded areas where he travels. Right? You're saying we've been there, so she could be there. So that tells me she's not there. It tells me it's a waste of a search. Okay. Because when I put 90 plus people there, that's all day. Right? We got to coordinate that. We got to put them there. So we need fruitful searches.
Yeah.
So I need likely places that you think, and I need places you think based on conversations with him, not because you can picture in your mind that there's trees there.
So keep thinking.
There's no conversation I can think of where he's named interest in being anywhere near woods or it being along his way.
Said he got a flat tire. Tell me about the flat tire you got.
So he said he got a flat tire. I'm not sure when he got a flat tire, but he said he got a flat tire and then came directly home, and he got home around 2:40. So flat tire, he said he was driving down 192 and it just popped and shredded and fell apart. And he pulled over into a plaza and changed the tire for the first time in a very long time, and said he hurt himself doing it. The frame of the car, something came down on his finger.
All his lies, I don't care, but I want to know what you question him about.
Right, exactly.
Why was he there? What was he doing? There's no way you're the most trusting woman in the world. You just don't ask clarifying questions. I know no relationship I've ever been in is that trusting. He just tells you he's gone at 3 a.m. getting a fucking Wawa, and you're like, oh, whatever, bet. Same thing with this. It's like, oh, yeah, I got a flat tire, was here. Why is he at these places? Do you not question him? Why were you on 192? Why did you dip out at 3 a.m. with my car?
I didn't know
Like
he did that.
Because this is 2 times he went to 192. He went to 192 the day she disappeared, right? He's roaming, looking for her south of where she went missing, because supposedly she went missing. And 192 is south of where that is.
And
not very likely that that's the route she went on foot or abducted, and that him driving around is somehow going to locate her.
And he did tell. I did question that. I was like, when I asked him where he's searching, he said 182. I said, why? That's nowhere where she would be. And he didn't give me a clear answer, and I don't know why I didn't push it. I just thought he was being stupid and oblivious, because I don't.
There's another clear example of him being suspicious, and yet she's saying like, oh, I don't know why I didn't think it was suspicious. Right.
I don't see him as the smartest man. Like, I don't. I let him do what he does, but I don't trust a lot of his. Is the word judgment? I'm not sure, but I just don't trust that he makes the smartest decisions sometimes. Like, he likes to act like the smartest man in the room, but I don't think he is.
Do what he does. Meaning?
I'm sorry?
You said, I let him do what he does.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
If he wants to just get up and go to the store, I'll ask where you're going, but I won't stop him. Just let him go on his way. I'll let him do what he wants to do.
What do you think happened? Monday to now. You know she's deceased. We showed you pictures that she's deceased. We know that she was probably deceased Sunday and Monday. We didn't see her Monday morning.
I still don't want to believe she's deceased. I know you showed me pictures, but
for the purpose of this conversation, I need you to believe it because I need you to figure it out. I need you to tell me what you think happened to her.
I think he killed her that night.
How?
I don't know. Could it be possible that he drugged her? Could he have choked her? I just don't know how you kill someone and don't leave a mess or don't leave evidence, or I mean, was there a mess? Was there evidence? I haven't gone upstairs. I don't know what you guys. I barely went into the house today, so I don't know what.
I need to know what you think happened.
I think he killed her.
How? You mentioned drugged her. You mentioned other things. Explain your reasoning behind those assumptions, and we'll move forward day by day.
So he had access to benzos and I think Lunesta.
What are those? I'm not familiar with that.
Benzodiazepines are anxiety medications which relax you and can make you sleepy.
Okay.
And Lunesta, I think, is a sleeping medication, like for insomnia. So I don't know if it's possible he gave her something and she was drugged. In those photos that you showed me where you're saying she's dead, maybe she was drugged. But if she is dead and it was done upstairs, I could just only imagine that he choked her. I don't know how else you would kill someone and not leave a mess.
How do you think he got her out?
I have no idea because roommates come in and out of the house at any given point in the morning and we don't know their schedules. They can come in at any time.
Well, I hate to leave you guys on the edge of your seats. My back is on fire right now, and we went a little longer than I planned on it. So we're at the 2-hour mark. There is 53 more minutes. We will do the other half tomorrow night. So same time, same place, and we'll play the rest of this. Obviously, I know that there's copies of this out there. People have already been watching it. So if you would join me tomorrow night just for our conversation on it, I would be greatly appreciative of that. I love when you guys are just here to hang out anyways, because I'm not going to watch it until I go live. So it'll be a live reaction. So we will continue the rest tomorrow night. And thank you guys so much for being here. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Thank you to my moderators and members. And thank you to everyone. I'm still getting baby gifts alerts on my phone when someone buys off the registry. And I don't want to say the names tied to your Amazon account. But if you're in chat, thank you so much. And you guys have a wonderful night.